Hey everyone, in today's video we're going to give a gold and silver update, primarily focusing on the last 7 days and all the changes that have happened to the market and what I think that means for the future coming up. We're also going to touch on the gold to silver ratio and why that's important. The gold to silver ratio is fluctuating wildly as silver continues upward momentum in relation to gold. That gold to silver ratio has been shrinking. What does that mean? Well, I'm going to talk about it in the video and explain my thoughts on it. Be sure to stick around. So both gold and silver have been on quite a wild ride in the last few months. Gold crossing over all-time highs and slightly pulling back, but still holding steady above $2,300 per ounce. Silver, on the other hand, has been much more volatile. It did a 20% jump in the month of May. It has pulled back about $1.65 maybe from its high this month, but over the last 7 days, silver is still up 73 cents. That's from May 16 through May 23rd. So even though silver did hit that or cross over that $32 an ounce level for a little while, it did pull back. Am I concerned about the pullback? No, not really. Pullbacks are a natural, healthy part of the precious metal cycles. As metals go up in a bull market, there's always some pullbacks along the way. We like to call those pullbacks opportunity. Of course, you don't always know when the best opportunity is until it's behind you. But if you're on the fence whether or not you should continue to buy metal, right now we may be in one of those pullbacks. As I said, we're down about $1.62 according to my numbers from the month's high with silver, down from 32.03, and that was a closing price. I know it got higher intraday. To currently we sit at 30.41, which is $1.62 difference from the high this month. So to me that looks like a pretty good opportunity. Could it go lower? Sure. Could it go higher? Sure. The problem is we don't know which way it's going to go. So for what it's worth, I still think silver is a great investment. If you happen to cash in on my flash sale I had this past week, we moved a lot of 90% silver. I mean a lot. It's by far my most successful flash sale I've ever had in terms of transactions. We had a lot of people reaching out wanting to pick up 90% silver. Roosevelt dimes and quarters were on sale for spot, and $half and Mercury dimes were on sale for 50 cents over spot. So if those of you who did take advantage of that, thank you so much. And as payments start trickling in, I'll get those orders out. But I still think 90% silver is a great buy. Notice I don't have any on the tray in front of me. I actually just wanted to showcase some new things that we picked up in the shop this past week. 90% silver remains one of the cheapest ways you can continue to stack silver. So do you have 90% in your stack? If you do, drop it down in the comments and let us know, because I know it's not for everybody. As I've mentioned in previous videos, a lot of people just like to collect the shiny stuff like you see in front of you here. Everything in front of you here is at least 3 9s pure bullion. All of these actually are government issued. Got some interesting ones. I got a proof wedge-tailed eagle from Australia, proof 70 early release. This is a really nice, good looking coin that came in early this past week. I really like this one because of the holder. I'm not a collector of special holders, but to me a holder can really enhance the appearance of a certified coin. So if it's in a nice holder, I'm honestly more apt to appreciate it more, even though I encourage you to buy the coin, not the holder. But this one's really cool because it has the Australian flag in the backdrop. This is by NGC. So, and I did pick up a small grouping of uncirculated 1986. These are first year American Silver Eagles. These are one of the better dates. This actually came in through a wholesaler. This is a new South Korean coin. It says Z Sin Draco. I don't know if you can see the detail on that, but these are very ornate. They do a very good job, South Korea does, on their bullion coins. One maybe not unique, but interesting thing, if you look at the edge, they don't have reeded edges in South Korea. It's just like Austria. They have smooth edges on their bullion coins as well. So I've always found that interesting. But yeah, I have these in stock. And then as you can see, I got a lot of year of the goat, year of the horse, year of the monkey, year of the dragon, some different things there. One thing I wanted to touch on, I'll quickly talk about gold. As a lot of the attention lately has been on silver, gold has kind of been an afterthought, and I'm seeing that in the shop, quite frankly. Very little gold is coming in, and very little gold is coming out. Why is that? Well, it's because silver's been in the news because of that 20% jump this month, as I touched on earlier. But don't forget about gold. Gold is still hanging in there. Sure, it's down about $100 from its all-time high that it touched, within the last 30 days, but it still remains over $2,300 an ounce, and it's held steady there. It has not dipped down below $2,300 an ounce in quite a while. So that may be the new floor for a while. It's maybe not the best time to jump into gold now, but if you have gold in your stack, I would continue to hold it if I were you, unless you need the cash to live. And we touched on that in a previous video. Sometimes we get in situations where we do have to liquidate some metal, hopefully at a profit, in order to convert to fiat currency to pay bills so we can continue to live our lives. So, but I do want to touch on, this is important here, the gold to silver ratio. And I bring this up every now and then in my videos, and I've put out many videos talking about it. But the current ratio sits at 76.76 to 1. So it takes a little under 77 ounces of silver to purchase an ounce of gold. Now that number in the last 4 years has been as high as 125 to 1. I'm not sure if it's been this low in the last 4 years. I'm gonna have to look back at some charts, and if it has been lower, I'll put it up here on the screen. But what that shows me is silver is gaining value in relation to gold because it's taking less ounces of silver to purchase that ounce of gold. And when that happens, there becomes opportunities to do swaps between metals. And I've talked about this before. It's not for everybody, but I've done it myself a few times to my advantage every time. And there again, it's easy for me to do because I have a business. It's easy for me to inventory in, inventory out my things. But at a little under 77 to 1 ratio, I would just continue to be in a holding pattern in terms of swaps. I kind of look for a 60 to 1 ratio. When I can buy gold for 60 ounces of silver, I take advantage of that. And I've done that a couple times in the past. And then once the ratio flips back to maybe an 85 or a 90 to 1, then you sell that gold back and convert it into silver and gain silver in relation to the gold that you're trading back in. So that's how I look at it. It's an easy way to increase your stack for minimal cost. I know I've talked about this before and people put down in the comments, yeah, it's easy for you to do because you have a shop, but it costs us money. Yeah, it does. The way I handle it in my shop, it's usually, honestly, it varies. It depends on what you're trading in and what you're trading out. If you want to do a swap between gold and silver, I get the questions a lot. Oh, how many ounces of silver would it take for me to get an ounce of gold? Well, what type of silver are you trading in? If you're trading in premium silver like here on the tray, it's going to take a whole lot less. If you're trading in low premium silver rounds, it's going to take a little more. So I only do commission on one side. I don't treat it as a straight buy and then a straight sell because that's not really fair to the customer. So that's how I handle it. So if you are interested in doing a gold to silver trade or vice versa, just know that I do that. Most, I would guess, coin shops across the country would do it as well. And they're going to have their own rules and policies regarding it. So if that's something you think you want to do, be sure to reach out. But I think that ratio is something very important to pay attention to because as it continues to shrink, as I said, silver is gaining on gold in terms of value. So if that number shrinks much more, like I said, getting into the 60, 65 range, I'm probably going to look at starting to convert some silver into gold. That's for me personally. So, but that's kind of where we stand with the gold and silver market. As I said, gold's down about $100 an ounce from its high over the last 30 days. Despite the backtrack and the backwards momentum that silver's had over the last few days, it is still up 73 cents over the last 7 days. So I wouldn't sleep on that either. I don't think silver has had its day in the sun yet. As I said, these pullbacks along the way up are healthy and they're quite normal. So if you can, try to take advantage of those pullbacks because as I said, you got to look at those as opportunity. But I appreciate everyone for tuning in today. Be sure to drop down in the comments if you're stacking 90% silver now, or if you just prefer the shiny stuff that we have here. I think a lot of new people, in fact, I know a lot of new people are buying 90% silver now because they're telling me that, yeah, I don't own any 90% silver yet. This is my first 90% silver purchase, things like that. So it's nice to see people diversify their stacks. So, but there again, there's nothing wrong if you like one thing in particular. I know one person that all they will buy is American Silver Eagles. That is it. Nothing else will go in their stack, and that's perfectly fine. So drop it down in the comments also. What do you like to stack? For me personally, and I've done a video on this before, I stack everything. That's my problem. I like it all. So you really got to pick and choose and be choosy what you choose to add to your stack. But thank you all for tuning in. You all have a great day.